Hello Internet, Mickey Adam here. Today I'm going to do an apple pie recipe. It's for a pie filling, and you can them. And I'm going to use my Amish Canning Cookbook. The recipe's in there, and it takes like 6 quarts of apples, and it'll make you 7 quarts of canned pie filling. So that'll be my task today. So for today's apple pie filling recipe, I walked across the street and talked to a neighbor. They got 2 humongous transparent apples trees there with a few others and some Italian plum, and I asked them if I could pick the apples so I could make some apple pie filling that I was going to can and do 7 quarts. And there's 2.5 gallon buckets full of transparent apples, so I just got to get to peeling them. Now I got to start peeling apples. So what you see on the table here is I got a couple buckets I throw my apples in after I peel them. Maybe half a gallon, 3/4 gallon of water, and I put half to 3/4 cup of lime juice in there. I just use that to stop my apples from going brown before I can get to canning oil, because I got a fair bit to peel. So I peeled a few apples and cut them up. I got 2 quarts cut already, another 4 to go. So just a little bit, maybe why I'm doing apples, apple pie. I'm not a real fan of apple pie. I know that's probably not the right thing to say, because apple pie is as good as home kind of thing. And being a Canadian, I know this is going to sound really weird, but I'm not a fan of maple syrup. You know, the Aunt Jemima and all those ones are the imitation syrup. We have a friend that's from back east. Every now and then they bring out real maple syrup in the can. We trade them for our honey for their maple syrup, and that's good syrup. But still, not being a fan of syrup, I'll eat that stuff a little bit. But maple syrup, nah. I don't like my bacon with maple syrup in it. Basically, I'm not a maple syrup guy. And apple pie, I'll eat them. My in-laws, they like them. So that's why I'm making an apple pie. My favorite pie is basically probably a lemon meringue. I like to make that out of all fresh eggs. Blueberry, blackberry. I made some strawberry rhubarb pie filling. Linda's Pantry. I watch her a bit, and she inspired me to make that stuff off of her recipe that I think she got from the Needy Homesteader. But blackberry season for us is coming in probably in the next 2 weeks. All our blackberries should be ripe. So we'll be making blackberry pie, which is basically a favorite of my wife's. Probably some blackberry jam, maybe blackberry jelly. So down to the nitty gritty here. I got 6 quarts cut, just under 6, and I need 6, so I'm going to do a little extra. And because the apples will scrunch down and they shorten up a little bit, and maybe I'll have a little extra left over for a topping for ice cream. My dad likes that. I'm just knocking the cores out now, and my kids are going to look at this and go, holy cow, he's cutting towards his thumb. Because when my kids were little, they used to be junior forest wardens, and both their grandpas used to give them knives for Christmas all the time. My daughter always wondered why Grandpa would give her a knife, and Grandpa told her every girl should have a knife, a good sharp one. And then we used to teach the kids when they're little to never cut towards your thumb. Always cut towards your chum. You can always get a new chum, you can never get a new thumb. So they'll be probably watching this and going, My God, he's cutting towards his thumb. So in the background you can see I got my water bath. It's sitting there warming up. I got my jars upside down on top of it. They're just keeping warm. They're washed good now. I'm just keeping warm and kind of sterilizing them with the steam. And the pot right beside that will be the one that we mix the sugar and the clear gel in there with some cinnamon and nutmeg. But as soon as I get these cut up and get over there, I'll show you what's going on that side. In my pot, I've got 5.5 cups of sugar. I got 5 cups of apple juice and 2.5 cups of water. But with the sugar, I got a tablespoon of cinnamon and a teaspoon of nutmeg. That nutmeg, that's optional. But also, I got in with it, I got 1.5 cups of clear gel starch. I had to order that online in the community I live in. They don't sell that here. They actually didn't know what it was. And then I have 3/4 cups of lemon juice, and it's the lemon out of the real lemon can. It's they recommend you use that because it's got the same acidity all the way through. If you use fresh lemons, which I would have preferred, they say you can't guarantee what the acidity level would be of those lemons, so they would like you to use lemon juice out of one of the containers, the concentrates that you get, because the consistency is all the same. Put it on a medium to high heat, and now I'm just going to stir it until it starts to thicken. And then once it gets up there, it starts to thicken, I'll add the lemon juice and let it bring to almost a boil for a minute, and then I'll add my my apple slices. So I've been stirring for it a bit now, and see on the bottom of my wooden spoon in one corner there, it's starting to thicken up. That's why they want you to consistently keep stirring it. You know, I go a little bit, then I stop, go a little bit. Otherwise it'll stick to the bottom of your pan. And as it starts to thicken, you'll start seeing lumps, I guess you want to call it, in your juice. The thing is, after watching Linda's Pantry and researching a little bit, the cornstarch that they normally use in gravies or pies when you're doing them on the spot is okay to use, but when you're canning this stuff, they want you to use the clear gel cornstarch because it holds up better under heat. You got to water bath them for 25 minutes at a rolling boil, and they say if you use normal cornstarch for that process, it'll actually break down and go lumpy. So that is the reason for the clear gel. I kind of mix in between here and clean up. My wife's not home, and she's working night shift tonight, and she usually follows me around the kitchen cleaning up after me because I can be a messy cook. I'm spilly and sloppy and messy, so I'm kind of doing double duty tonight. I guess kind of a man's multitasking is what I'm trying to do tonight. Clean up as I go. Not really working that well for me though, but I'm making an attempt at it. The apple pie has the gel filling, this clear gel is gelled up, and the apple's been added. But if you're wondering, saying, hey, what's going on? This looks different from the last. It's because remember when I told you I didn't like to peel apples? Well, my battery died on my camera. And I had to have I would like to say my helper, but my wife, she peeled apples this time for me. So I could finish off the film. The film was right to this stage, and the battery died, so as much as I hated to peel apples, I had to do a second batch of this apple pie filling just so I could finish my video. So great thank you to my wife for being my helper and putting up with me on how to peel the apples and slice them. I'm probably not the easiest guy in the kitchen, am I, hon? She's not saying nothing, she's just kind of smiling at me. So all the apples are in now, and we're stirring it around. Looking pretty good. So I've been stirring it now for about 10 minutes on a medium-high heat. I'm just waiting to see if it bring it to a bit of a boil, and then it'll go into the jars that are sitting in the water bath right now, staying warm. Get close to boiling. It's hard to see when it boils. It kind of goes up and down like it's breathing, but you really can't see it's boiling because it's so thick. So you have to just be very careful not to burn it to the bottom of your pot, because it is thick with the apples and the sugar and the clear gel. Now we're ready just to take it over and put it on the little island we got here and start putting it in jars. In the water bath, just keeping sterile. All my equipment's been cleaned and sterile. So it's just a matter now of filling the jars up. I got some wide mouths. I typically like to use narrow mouths for this because it's an easy pour out, and save my wide mouths for doing our pickles and our pears and our peaches and things like that. But I wasn't very well on the ball when I did this, so we got some wide mouths instead of narrow mouths tonight. So just taking all the air out and making sure everything goes down. Check how much we got in here full. We like to fill it. I know the FDA, which is an American site, we're Canadians, calls for an 1.5 inches to the rim. If it's deeper than this here, then I'm good. I'm not the 1.5 inches, but I'm better than what the vinegar. I like to use vinegar on here. We used to use water on the tops, but we still found it left a bit of an oily residue when we're doing things with oil. So now we use vinegar. And I picked it up. Most of the sites on YouTube is the vinegar. So we've been using vinegar the last little bit, and it actually seems to be helping us a little bit better. So it was Linda's Pantry. It was her website on YouTube that got me to do the, we did a strawberry rhubarb pie filling when our strawberries and rhubarb were out. And then she watched her a bit, and she also follows the Needy Homesteader. There's a couple others I watch on YouTube. So this is where I got mine from, and I'll put a link down there to Linda's Pantry. She's been at it for quite a while, and I'm just kind of a newbie beginner, and I get a lot of good information from her. If you guys like what you see, because like my description for my page says, I do a lot of different things. Maybe on the little side of weird, I guess my kids say, off the wall. So if you subscribe over there, or maybe down over there in the corner, I'd appreciate it, and I'll keep on doing different stuff. I like to do, like I said, can, make soap, we make cheese, we raise chickens. We just had a bunch of meat birds that went off to, they went for a field trip to the slaughterhouse. We had our first chicken tonight from our meat bird. We did it on the briquette barbecue over a beer can. It turned out really good. We're down to the last jar. There's 6 are just sitting in the counter in the water bath, just waiting to go into the water bath as soon as this jar's full. Looks like I'm going to have a little bit extra. I'll just put it in a jar and put it in the fridge and use it for ice cream topping. It's pretty good that way. My dad's up visiting, and he seems to think none of it should be canned. It should all be used for ice cream. So I'll get back to you when I take it out of the canner. Well, they just came out of the canner, and they're basically just going to sit and cool and wait till we hear the pop, pop, pop. But they look good, so Now we're just waiting for the canner's music. So there's my first attempt at, second attempt at canning apple pie. Like I said, the next one will be blackberry. We're going to can that kind of filling. So like I said, if you like the video that I did, and hopefully it's my third and I'll get better from here, please subscribe down there or over there. And see you on the next one.